So, when there was the mad cow disease scare in Europe, the German government, in their infinite ingenuity, came up with a law for the delegation of beef label monitoring. And the special thing about this law was that the word for it was the longest word in German. When the mad cow disease scare ended, they repealed this law, and now it's no longer a word in German. And upon hearing this, I was naturally quite distressed and ended up writing this poem in memoriam for the formerly longest word in German. And it's called Final Words, so here we go. When that clever German nation had a need for delegation of the oversight of labels for their beef, they passed a certain law with a name one can't ignore, though this in German fashion wasn't brief. A law at which the seasoned speller frets. It was das Rindfleisch-Etikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. And for many years it stood, doing beef producers good and fighting spongiform encephalopathy, but when mad cow disease was proved to have gone, it was removed. The law was now as good as homeopathy, and this is all the funeral it gets, that Rindfleisch-Etikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. And when the government created it, the journalists had hated it. It made their rural stories quite a squeeze, but each lawyer would rejoice at the sound of their own voice when reciting such a piece of legalese. A view with which I do agree, so let's raise a cheer for das Rindfleisch-Etikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. Total letters, 63, and I think you will agree that something of that size needs recognition. Though now it is a failure like bodybuilders' genitalia, it stood above its former competition. Auf Wiedersehen, loveliest of pets, my Rindfleisch-Etikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. And if you think this compound word clearly bordered on absurd, then go ahead, by all means, abandon it, but devotees like me will preserve its memory by giving feet of time no chance to stand on it. We will always pay our due respects to das Rindfleisch-Etikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. And in its passing we're bereft, but we must look at what is left, for German has a few linguistic beauties. It requires some endurance to say third-party car insurance, although I find I can't neglect my duties. So now let's praise in mother tongue of Jung, Kraftfahrzeug Haftpflichtversicherung. Danke.